What is the difference between sheep and goats? Ever chased a goat up a hill only to have it stare back at you like it was judging your life choices? I have. And let me tell you, that little guy had more attitude than a rock star on tour. Sheep, on the other hand, would have just huddled politely in a group, blinked, and quietly waited for snacks. If you've ever wondered, what's the real difference between sheep and goats? You're not alone. These barnyard buddies might look like distant cousins at a petting zoo, but trust me, biologically, behaviorally, and even in beard game, they're worlds apart. Today, we're going to dig into the quirky contrasts and charming characteristics that set these hoofed legends apart. Whether you're Team Bao or Team Mei, you're in for a wild and woolly ride. 1. Origins and family ties. Who's who in the barnyard? Let's get one thing straight. Sheep and goats may both rock hooves and fuzzy coats, but under the surface, they're different branches on the same wild family tree. Both are even-toed hoofed animals, a fancy way of saying their feet look like cloven mittens, and they belong to the Bovidae family. That's the same family that brings you cows, antelopes, and, if you're lucky, a very confused bison in your backyard. Now, if you're talking sheep, you're dealing with the Ovis genus. Our familiar woolly friend, the domestic sheep, is officially known as Ovis aries. Meanwhile, goats come from the Capra camp, with the classic domestic goat going by the name Capra hircus. If those sound like the names of ancient Roman senators, you're not wrong. These animals have been hanging out with humans since the days of empires. Here's a fun fact. All wild relatives of sheep and goats originally came from the northern hemisphere. That means the rugged mountains of Central Asia, the chilly slopes of the Caucasus, and those high cliffs that make you wonder, how on earth did that goat get up there? Were the original stomping grounds for these tough little herbivores. Personally, I think it's amazing how these animals adapted to some of the harshest environments on Earth, all while developing such distinct personalities. Sheep got soft and sociable, goats went rogue and became mountain daredevils. That's nature's version of sibling rivalry, and I'm here for it. Ready to meet the rest of the herd? Let's keep going. 2. Names and nicknames. Who's who in the flock and herd? Alright, folks. If you've ever stood in front of a pen full of fluffy creatures wondering what to call them, I've got you covered. These animals don't just baw or med their way through life, they've got titles worthy of barnyard royalty. Let's start with sheep. The full-grown male with all his, let's say, machinery intact is called a ram. Think of him as the linebacker of the pasture, bulky, confident, and probably butting heads with a fence post just for fun. The females go by you, pronounced like you. It's adorable and confusing at the same time. A baby sheep, that's a lamb, fluffy, bouncy, and pretty much the definition of cuteness overload. Now, if the male sheep has been neutered, he's called a wether, which sounds oddly philosophical, like he's contemplating life without testosterone. Now let's talk goats. Males are known as bucks or billy goats. If you've read a fairy tale or two, you probably remember the billy goats gruff, those mischievous bridge-crossing troublemakers. Females are does or nanny goats. Yes, like a live-in babysitter, because they're often looking after a whole bunch of bouncing kids. And speaking of kids, that's the actual term for baby goats. Which means you can tell your friends, I've got 3 kids at home, and keep a straight face even if they all have hooves. I think these names are half the fun of working with livestock. There's something charming about calling a majestic mountain-climbing goat a billy, or introducing a new lamb like it's the star of a Disney movie. So next time you're at a petting zoo or on a farm, throw these terms around. You'll sound like a pro, and who doesn't want to impress a goat? 3. Looks that turn heads. Sheep versus goats. Let's talk fashion and facial hair. Yes, seriously, because sheep and goats have very different vibes when it comes to their appearance. Sheep are the woolly wonders of the animal world. Their thick, fluffy coats grow nonstop like a chia pet on caffeine, which is why we have to shear them regularly. It's like giving your grandma's favorite sweater seasonal haircut. Bonus, that wool keeps them cozy in freezing weather and gives us warm socks. Now, here's something you won't see on a sheep, a beard. Not even the burlest ram can grow a goatee. And if you look closely at a sheep's upper lip, you'll spot a little groove running down the middle. It's called a philtrum, basically a lip part that looks like someone sliced a pea pod in half. Their tails, always pointing down, often docked short in domestic breeds, but naturally floppy. Horns, it depends. Some sheep have beautifully curved, spiral horns that look like ancient warrior helmets. Others are totally hornless, depending on the breed. Rams, the males, are more likely to sport them, while ewes often go horn-free. Now goats go. Goats are the rock stars of the barnyard. Their short, slick coats never need shearing, which is a big win for low-maintenance livestock lovers. And unlike sheep, both male and female goats proudly wear beards like they're auditioning for a bluegrass band. Forget the lip groove. Goat lips are smooth and snack-ready, perfect for nibbling leaves, bark, or your shirt hem. Their tails, they stick up like little exclamation points, wagging with confidence. It's like they're always excited to be goats, and honestly, who can blame them? All goats have horns, every single one. Usually they're gently curved upward or out to the side, like nature's way of saying, "Back off, buddy," the wild ones. Some of them, like the mighty markhor, have horns that look like twisted unicorn horns. Seriously, look them up, it's like fantasy meets National Geographic. From a field guide perspective, I always tell people this: if it's fuzzy, tailless looking, and walking away with a waddle, it's probably a sheep. If it's sleek, bearded, and plotting its next escape, you're looking at a goat. And if you're still not sure, check the attitude. Sheep go with the flow. Goats want to run the show. 4. Sounds and social life. Who says what, and how they roll. Spend 5 minutes on a farm and your ears will tell you who's who before your eyes do. Sheep call out with a soft baa. It's the gentle, humble sound of an animal that likes the comfort of company. They're the introverts of the barnyard world, calm, cooperative, and happiest when surrounded by their flock. If one sheep walks off, the others will likely follow without question. Honestly, they're like nature's conga line. Goats, on the other hand, come with serious personality and a signature meh that sounds suspiciously like sarcasm. They talk back, they argue with fences, and sometimes they sound like they're auditioning for a role in a B-movie horror film. I once had a goat bleat right into my ear from behind a bush, and I swear it aged me 5 years. Behaviorally, goats are the mischief makers. They're curious, clever, and often stubborn as heck. While sheep are all about together is better, goats are more like, "I'll do it myself, thanks." They'll explore anything from your lunch bag to the roof of your car. And yes, I've seen both happen. 5. Dining habits and digestive magic for stomachs. Zero waste. Both sheep and goats are part of an elite group of animals called ruminants. That means they have a 4-chambered stomach built for serious plant processing. It's like having a built-in composting factory, and they're great at turning rough plants into energy. Sheep are grazers. They love grass and short plants, and they'll spend hours peacefully mowing a pasture like adorable lawn Roombas. They prefer the ground buffet and tend to stick with what's right under their noses. Goats, they're browsers. That means they'll eat everything else: leaves, shrubs, bark, twigs, even poison ivy. They're basically the adventurous foodies of the livestock world. I once caught a goat chewing on a paper map in a national park petting zoo. The paper didn't survive, but the goat did just fine. Here's a fun fact: goats are better suited to dry, rugged environments. Their guts are super efficient at squeezing nutrition out of tough, dry forage. In places where grass is scarce but thorn bushes thrive, goats will flourish like little desert survivalists. So in short, sheep are your mellow, grass-fed team players, and goats are the scrappy, snack-hunting rebels with a taste for adventure. You need both in a good barnyard drama. 6. Genetic quirks and breeding shenanigans. Let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes, way behind, at the DNA level. Sheep and goats may look like distant cousins, but their chromosomes tell a different story. Sheep carry 54 chromosomes while goats come packed with 60, so no, despite what cartoon crossbreeds might suggest, you can't just breed them and expect a fuzzy little shoat or geep to pop out. It's like trying to sync an iPhone with an old cassette player, not happening. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Sheep are actually trickier to breed. Their estrus cycle, that's their let's make babies window, is shorter and more seasonally picky. It's like trying to book a concert ticket during a 2-hour flash sale. Miss the timing, and you're out of luck until next season. Goats, on the other hand, tend to be more generous with their breeding schedule. They're more like, sure, let's do this for a longer portion of the year, which makes them easier to manage when you're trying to grow your herd. That's one of the reasons goats became so popular in rugged, low-resource farming areas around the world. 7. Let's talk smell, because you'll definitely notice. If you've ever walked past a buck goat in the middle of breeding season, your nose probably filed a complaint. Buck goats smell strong, and not just I've been rolling in the barnyard strong. We're talking I'm trying to impress the ladies with my musky cologne made of testosterone and bad decisions kind of strong. It's a smell that sticks to your memory and maybe even your clothes. Rams, that's male sheep, do have a scent during breeding season too, but it's more subtle. Think of it like cologne versus full-on body spray from a teenager's locker room. If you've ever hugged a buck during rutting season, I hope you weren't on your way to a dinner date. Trust me, your date would have smelled him before they saw you. So yes, if you're picking between the two based on scent alone, sheep win the fragrance contest. But if you're into bold personalities and don't mind a little of a wild animal, goats will definitely keep things interesting. 8. Their starring role in human history. Before sheep and goats became the lovable barnyard celebrities we know today, they were wild, scrappy survivors, hoofing it across rocky hillsides and grasslands. Back then, humans were more likely to chase them with spears than feed them grain. But somewhere between 11,000 and 9,000 BC, in the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, people looked at sheep and thought, hey, what if we stopped chasing them and started herding them instead? And just like that, the world's first woolly rumates were born. Not to be outdone, goats were domesticated not long after, around 10,000 BC in what is now Iran. And let me tell you, goats made themselves useful fast. They're tough, low maintenance, and can live just about anywhere, from rocky mountains to desert plains. If livestock were vehicles, goats would be the off-road jeeps of the animal world. Sheep brought more than just meat to the table. They gave us wool for clothing, hides for shelter, and even played roles in religious ceremonies. Lamb and mutton have fed empires. And that warm sweater you love in winter, thank a sheep for it. Goats, meanwhile, are like the Swiss Army knives of domesticated animals. Meat, check. Milk, oh yes, and some of the richest around. Their skin makes durable leather, and some breeds give us luxurious cashmere that feels like a hug from a cloud. In many parts of the world, goats are still the MVPs of the homestead thanks to their hardiness and low cost. I admire both. Sheep are like your steady, dependable friends who show up on time and don't cause a fuss. Goats are the wild cards, the ones who might eat your homework but also survive a zombie apocalypse. Whether you are after fashion, food, or fun farm stories, these two species have been with us for thousands of years, and I'd say we're better off for it. Are sheep and goats dangerous to people? Let's talk. Now, you might be thinking, sheep and goats. Dangerous? Come on, they're just fluffy and cute. And while it's true they're mostly harmless lawnmowers and adorable farm buddies, don't let that soft wool and those curious eyes fool you. Like any wild or domestic animal, they have their moments. First off, rams, the male sheep, can be surprisingly feisty, especially during mating season. Those big, curled horns aren't just for show. A startled or annoyed ram might charge or headbutt you if it feels threatened or just wants to prove who's boss. Trust me, you don't want to be on the receiving end of a ram's knock-knock. Goats, on the other hand, are known for their stubborn streak and impressive agility. They love to climb, explore, and sometimes test boundaries, which can mean sneaky escapes or unexpected headbutting. Bucks, the male goats, can also be territorial and might get aggressive during breeding season, plus they've got those sharp horns ready to defend their turf. Then there's the not-so-obvious risk, zoonotic diseases. Sheep and goats can carry bacteria or parasites that jump to humans, especially if you're handling them without proper hygiene. Nothing a good hand wash can't fix, but it's worth keeping in mind. So, the takeaway. These animals are mostly friendly and peaceful, but always respect their space, especially the males during breeding time. A little caution goes a long way to keeping you safe and your fluffy friends happy. Personally, I think sheep and goats have just enough sass to keep things interesting. Just don't get on their bad side, and you'll be fine. Should you keep sheep or goats as pets? Let's dive in. So, you're wondering if sheep or goats would make good pets? Well, here's the scoop from a wildlife expert who's seen these hooved buddies up close and personal. The short answer, yes, but with some important caveats. Sheep are like the mellow neighbors of the animal world, gentle, social, and pretty low maintenance if you have the space. They love hanging out in a flock and can get lonely or stressed if left alone. Their fluffy coats need regular shearing, think of it as a furry haircut, and they thrive best in a safe outdoor environment where they can graze and explore. If you're looking for a calm, peaceful companion who loves routine and chilling out, a sheep might be your new best friend. Goats, on the other hand, are the curious adventurers and mischief makers. They're smart, playful, and sometimes downright stubborn. Think of them as the comedians of the barnyard, always getting into something and keeping you on your toes. They love climbing, jumping, and testing boundaries, so your yard better be goat-proof with sturdy fences and no tempting escapes. Goats also enjoy human interaction and can bond deeply with their owners, but they need plenty of mental and physical stimulation to stay happy. One important note, both sheep and goats are herd animals. They really prefer having at least one buddy around, so adopting just one might leave them lonely and sad. Also, they do require proper care, space, and a bit of know-how about their diets and health needs. I think sheep and goats make fantastic pets if you're ready for the commitment and the occasional goofy antics. They bring so much personality, charm, and yes, a lot of laughs. Just be prepared for some serious awe moments and maybe a few surprise headbutts along the way. So, if you're up for a unique and rewarding pet experience, sheep and goats could be just the fluffy or bearded pals you never knew you needed. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed learning about the fascinating differences between sheep and goats, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more awesome wildlife content. And now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which animal you want me to explore next, maybe something wild, weird, or totally unexpected. Your ideas fuel the adventure, so don't be shy. Let's dive into the wild together.